Oh, when the night is falling, you cannot find a friend. You feel your tree is breaking, just bend. You've got the music in you, don't let go. You've got the music in you. One dance left, this world is gonna pull through. Don't give up, you got a reason to live. Can't forget, we only get what we give. Welcome, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love. My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Phoenix, and this is going to be your astrology horoscope for this moon in Gemini, while the sun is in Scorpio. At the time of me making this video, the moon is at 15 degrees, so it's already halfway through Gemini, speeding on through. It already has conjuncted Uranus, and by the time that the moon reaches that final decan of Gemini, especially those last several degrees when it's making this square over all this Pisces energy, Uranus would have slipped his ass back into Taurus. We also have Venus, which is now in Scorpio, and this moon is being disposited and influenced by a Mercury that is moving slow, and it's moving at a very sluggish pace through a sign that it doesn't want to be in, and Mars is there trying to find that inspiration, that motor to understand, to see our beliefs and to see the big things that we want to manifest in our life, and how can we expand upon these things in a way? How can we move through these things? How can we take action on these things? But it's going to be tough because our minds are trying to see the big picture, but it can't figure out the details, and it's slowing down. Communication is slowing down. The moon in Gemini likes to be inquisitive and curious and wants to connect and understand things, but it's going to be tough for it to do that because Mercury, the planet that's influencing it, is not in the great spot right now, and it's slowing down, and we will see it station retrograde here on this upcoming Sunday. We are halfway through the fall, too. And we have it, at least here in the southeast and the east, we have a cold front that's about to come through. So this whole transit, it's like winter's approaching. You can't find the light. You feel like you can't find a friend. You feel like your tree is breaking, but this is talking about just bend. I think this is about, we have to allow ourselves to not be so stuck and so rigid and be in this place where, we try to put up all of these walls, especially with this Venus now that is in Scorpio, putting up all these walls and these icy walls that prevent us from connecting with people, because we can't see the big picture, because we can't see that there could be inspiration and motivation out there, because now this is going to become a very more so isolating time. And it doesn't help that we have all of these things that are happening, how travel is getting impacted here, because you got to remember Sagittarius is all about travel. Mercury is slowing down, right? Travel is going to be impacted, so it's going to be harder for us to get to our families. If you're going to be traveling during this time, it's going to be tougher to do that. It's going to be tougher to make those sort of connections. And there's a focus here, of course, on the community aspect, because that's what Gemini is all about. It's all about our direct periphery. It's all about what is in our immediate environment and connecting with that energy, right? Fortunately, we live in a time where we have these devices and this technology to that if we are unable to maybe go and visit during the holidays and stuff like that, that we can still hop on these phones and these devices and we can still communicate and talk to each other. We should be grateful for the blessing that is. But that's where this energy is. We got to remember that we do only in this life get what we give, right? And sometimes it can seem like a conundrum, because sometimes it feels like some people just take. And then the people that give don't necessarily get anything in return. But are you focused on the material aspect? Are you focused on the mental aspect, the emotional aspect, the spiritual aspects? I think these are the things that we have to talk about. Sometimes you can give a lot materially, and you may not necessarily get that back, but maybe you get it in the form of emotions. Maybe you get that in the form of mentally stimulating conversations. You most certainly will get it back from a spiritual aspect, the more subtle aspect, the more unseen aspect. But because we are so locked into this Maya, locked into this dimension, that sometimes it's hard to see the beautiful treasures that come when we give and don't necessarily always get something in return. And that's a hard lesson to learn. And it's going to be even harder because, like I said, our mind is trying to conceive of a bigger picture, but it can't figure out the details, and it's going to go retrograde. Mars, the planet of action, will move past this. So this is when people are going to start to become impulsive because they're not going to have the biggest picture. And then like, well, I'm going to just act, I'm going to just go anyways, even though I don't really know what's going on. It's going to be harder to connect those two energies. And with Uranus now, that is going to slide back into Taurus, there's going to be this larger focus collectively on our values, on the things that we build, on the things that we manifest, and materiality, physicality, money, finances. These things are going to come up a lot more. And it's coming on a collision course with Earth. The Earth is always opposite of the sun in astrology. So the Earth is in Taurus right now, the planet the sign that it actually does rule. The Earth rules Taurus. So halfway through fall, I was driving in today and I was just marveling at the trees and the foliage and how everything has changed. It's this beautiful canvas. I'm looking out even right now. It's this beautiful canvas of dark greens and then lime greens, and then it goes into like this sort of golden orange and then this crimson, and juxtaposed against the sky, which they did some spraying today out here, it looks like. But it's a beautiful sight, and I just sat there in the car and marveled at it. And even though I'm driving, of course I'm paying attention, time kind of stopped for a bit. I think that's the interesting thing too. This moon, once it reaches these last few degrees, it is going to square Neptune. It is going to square Saturn, which are stopped. Saturn, whenever it retrogrades, time stops in a sense, right? So we can kind of observe things, observe our karma, observe the things that we have manifested, observe our actions and how they have crescendoed into this current moment. So don't allow these energies right now. This moon in Gemini is still wanting you to be creative and to connect and to try and understand your neighbor more so. And the universe is kind of forcing us to this place where we can't escape via Pisces. We can't escape via Sagittarius. There's a more of a focus on that energy. And like I said, once this moon leaves Gemini, we're not going to have any Gemini energy because Uranus will be back in Taurus. That moon's going to go in Cancer. Everyone's going to get in their fields. It's going to be with Jupiter. It's going to trine all this energy. So everyone's going to get back in their fields. You only get what you give. Don't allow this energy don't allow your inspiration to fall away. Don't allow the dimming of the light, because that's what's happening in the winter. We have less light. Don't allow the dimming of the light to keep you in this space where you can't see the future, where you can't think of a future, a more beautiful future, and act in the moment. Yeah, people are going to be more impulsive, for sure, once Mars passes over this Mercury. But it's going to be this interesting energy where it's like you want to be very, very particular, of course, about the actions that you're taking, because they're going to have consequences, be them positive or be them negative. You only get what you give. Venus and Scorpio, like I said, people are going to be throwing up walls, iciness. It's going to be hard to connect with people. You're going to definitely feel this energy. But you only get what you give. And that is where the true rebellion is. It's why they call themselves New Radicals. And that song came out in the 90s, right? And that song, the reason why, and that's like their biggest song that they've done, although the entire album is good. I encourage you to just listen to the entire album because it's a great album. But that song was just so popular and so prevalent that you still hear it today in like commercials and other things like that and stuff. You only get what you give. It's a powerful, beautiful message. And right now, more than ever, we need to understand that that's important. Don't allow all of the distractions. Don't allow all of the games where they try to divide us and split us apart and make us not see into each other the true intimacy. The good thing about Venus and Scorpio is that it can allow for some great intimacy. The problem with Venus and Scorpio is that sometimes it hurts a lot to be able to do that. It's harder to let people in sometimes with that Venus and Scorpio. It makes for great sex. I would say that. It makes for very great, passionate sex and stuff like that. But it can be harder to develop that intimacy. But this is where that true connection lies. And it doesn't have to necessarily be romantic. It could be friends and everything like that. So just know that that's where we are right now. And you don't, like I said, you don't have to do anything massive or big with your life right now. Maybe just strike up a conversation with a friend. Maybe a friend that you talk to a lot. Maybe a friend that you haven't talked to in a while. strike up a conversation, and connect that way. That's going to be the key with this moon in Gemini. Anyways, that's what I got for you all today. I trust that this message will assist you on your journey. I will be back tomorrow when the moon goes into Cancer. And but yeah, y'all take care, stay blessed, and I will see y'all next time. Later.